What's up, fellow questers? Welcome back to another episode of I Don't Believe in Side Quests, where we love to remind you that every side quest is somebody else's main quest. I'm Gabe,
I'm Lauren.
and let's do some catching up on what's been happening this week for us. I have nothing. It's just been.
I'm going off to the wedding in 2 days, so my life has been just like getting ready, packing. I picked up my bridesmaid dress yesterday, so good to go on that, and just trying to get
Wait, whose wedding?
my best friend's wedding in Montana that I did the bachelorette for.
Yeah, that's right.
It's
Yes.
finally here. The wedding is finally happening. She got engaged at the same time as I did, and just like due to venue and other shenanigans, they waited kind of an extra year to get stuff nailed down. So anyway, so we're finally here. It's finally wedding time. So yes, second stint as maid of honor. Let's rock and roll. I realized in just a rush, I was like doing my skincare on Saturday, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I have to do a maid of honor speech at this wedding.
So, yeah, you probably do.
Anyways, that's what I've been doing in any mirror that I walk past, is trying to like talk through and work my way through.
I think you'll rock it.
I'm excited. It'll be good. I've talked myself through a few, so I know the direction I want to go. I just have to nail down my verbiage.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of make a little script for myself. That'll be fine.
Just imagine everybody in their underwear, right? Isn't that what we're supposed to do?
Yes.
That's what I was always told when you go up to do a speech. Just picture everyone in their underwear.
At the base level, okay, you want to picture that everyone else is as uncomfortable or awkward or nervous or self-conscious as you are, so that you feel more confident and that you're like, oh, no, I'm the one who has it together in this room, so I'm going to keep going, keep rocking. Now, I don't know how that ended up people being without clothing, because I feel like a lot of people have similar reactions of just like, I don't know how I feel about that. That does not inspire me to do my best work. But yeah, I think fundamentally just like picture or just understand that everyone else is like, oh my gosh, I wish I was not up on that stage. She's doing amazing. I'm so glad it's not me, is more of the mentality there.
I feel like I black out for any speech I've ever had to do or like public talking, because honestly, I don't remember it. I don't know how I got up there and did it, just that I did it.
Oh, totally.
So
that's what so I did a lot of theater when I was younger. And yeah, 100% I would walk off the stage and be like, hope I did good. I don't know what happened. Said my lines. Because yeah, if you have like your script or something else and you're just fully prepared and you just really, just like a sport, you're swinging a bat. You're not trying to overthink what's going on. You're trying to we're just going to do it. We've trained for this. We're ready to go. So in some gaming news, so there's a Nancy Drew musicale that is being announced and being worked upon. I don't know why. I don't know if it's like the Nancy Drew show. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why there is all of a sudden this interest. I mean, they've recently done, it doesn't sound like it's going to be a jukebox musical, which is what my greatest fear was. So that's good, because they've been doing a lot of jukeboxes. Like with Clueless, they did a jukebox. They've been doing kind of pop culture jukebox musicals. It's been a little trendy.
What does that mean?
So, jukebox musical is using music that has not been written for it. So, for example, they did Clueless, the musical,
new stuff,
and they did not add new stuff. They used like pop songs from the 90s. So it's just like if the radio was on, you know, like hits from the
That's what
radio.
I mean.
Yeah.
It's adding new, like, different. So obviously it doesn't have to be a new written song. I just mean, like, it's new to what the musical is. Is that not what you're saying? Like, it's
Yeah. So I was just concerned that they were going to have like Ariana Grande songs or something in Nancy Drew. Because I know they're doing a Disney Princess one with all Britney Spears songs. So anyway, I was
wait,
just
I'm
concerned about the
confused.
jukebox situation.
But there's never been a Nancy Drew musical before. Has there?
Right. Correct.
Right. So then if it's never had music written for it, how could it be a jukebox musical?
Okay. I was sensing we were not on the same page. So, okay, great. So, a jukebox musical, so they write a play and then they say, ooh, what was a popular song? So, for example, going on Britney Spears, Oops, I Did It Again. Instead of having like that song, Oops, I Did It Again, is in the musical. So they're not, the
Right.
musical is
No, I
not having,
understand.
oh,
So it has nothing to do with, like, I get that part, that what you're saying.
okay.
But I thought you were saying what made it that was not only that they used it, but because it was a what would you call it? An established play with established music already for it.
So,
But you're just
no.
saying it only has to do with the fact that it's taking a popular song.
So the entire soundtrack for the show is popular songs. It never had original music. Yes? So they created a musical with just popular songs.
It wasn't. Oh, I guess Clueless wasn't already a musical, was it? I was thinking Clueless was had been a musical, and so I was thinking it was like Chicago or something, right? Where it has stuff that's been written for it. But then you were saying, or like, okay, this is what I was picturing in my head. Let's take the Beauty and the Beast live action, right? The original Disney one, right, has its songs in it. But when they did the new Beauty and the Beast, they, redid some of the songs. They added songs that weren't in the original, right? Obviously, it was still written and designed for it. That's what I was thinking you mean. But Clueless has never been a musical.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about that. So it has nothing written for it. It has nothing established for it. It just, okay, I get it now. I understand.
Mean Girls also didn't have music, and they wrote new music for it. Clueless did not have music, and then they did not write music for it. They just used songs that may have been on the radio in the time or are otherwise like. So the Britney Spears musical I was talking about just uses Britney Spears songs, and then they kind of weave a story around those pre-made songs instead of writing the story and then creating songs that work with it.
So, like, what's the name of that movie? Mamma Mia, right?
Yes.
Is that the same thing, right?
Because Mamma Mia is a great ABBA jukebox songs. Musical. Yes.
But it's all ABBA songs.
Yes.
Right. Okay. I get it.
That is a great example of a jukebox musical. So it can be done really, really well. But it can also be done in kind of a lazy way of just, we don't feel confident that we can write music that's going to work along with this. So instead, we're just going to have our performers sing popular songs in the context of this.
Right. Emily just texted me Mamma Mia. Right after I said Mamma Mia to you, she texted me Mamma Mia.
Amazing.
Yes.
So, to be clear, this Nancy Drew, at least from what I can tell, is not going to be a jukebox. Hooray, hooray, hooray. It is being composed by the man, Alan Menken, who's composed Little Mermaid. They are using the Legally Blonde and Mean Girls lyricist, Nell Benjamin. The book is being written by two-time Oscar winner Sarah Kernochan, and it is going to be directed by three-time Tony winner and Pulitzer Prize recipient James Lapine. Lapine. So there's a lot of composers, lyricists in there. So I feel good that it's not going to be a jukebox. And it's called The Mystery at Spotlight Manor. And it is about a musical theater camp. Woo! So they're going to musical theater camp, taking to the stage, singing some songs. I don't know. When I was looking at this, I also saw that there was a 2018 attempt at a Nancy Drew musicale, and that was the concept was it was Nancy Drew at age 60, and she and her daughter Diana Nickerson, and Diana's daughter Nell Nickerson or somebody else Nickerson. So Nancy, her daughter, and her granddaughter are on a cruise. They're on a cruise ship, and she's facing life's biggest mystery, her own family. They did a staged reading of it in 2018, just being like, ooh, and then no one ever heard of it again, at least not from what I could easily find. So I don't know what happened there, but this is a completely different concept. They clearly were like, maybe no one wants to see.
I feel like 3 generation is too much.
Yeah.
You'd have to at least establish a daughter first. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So part of the concept was that Nancy was like a world famous detective and everyone knew of her and blah, blah. I have no idea why they conceptualized this in this way, other than maybe because she like grew to fame in like, you know, the 30s, 40s, 50s. So maybe they were thinking, well, that's when she was doing her young detective work. And then now she has grown up. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, it did not happen. So now we're at musical theater camp. And the article I was reading in Playbill was saying, while this is the first time Nancy and Co. will be taking to the stage themselves, one of the most successful computer games of the early 2000s was Nancy Drew the Final Scene, which transported the team to the fictional Royal Palladium Theater in St. Louis, where a movie star disappears from his dressing room 3 days before the theater was set to be demolished. The game was loosely based on a 1989 Nancy Drew book of the same name. So I was just really excited to see a little Nancy Drew game. Shout out there.
Wait. It's not a guy, though, who disappears. It's Maya. It's her friend Maya who disappears and that we're looking for.
You're so right. I copied that in and
it's
I just
the
read
movie star who we're accusing of being the bad guy. Yeah.
That's so good. Thank you for catching that.
You're welcome.
I was just happily reading along, just excited to be included.
I was being really confused while you were reading it. I was like, have I never played this Nancy Drew before? And then I was like, well, that's not possible because I've played all of them. And then I was like, wait.
Oh, no, they're just wrong.
Okay, Maya. Got it. Yeah. It was the 3 days. Or no, it was where you said demolished. And I was like, well, I remember the really traumatizing thing about our friend was going to get demolished. And I was the villain fight in that one is wild. Intense, where you're racing against. Yeah. So, okay. I got it. I get it now. That's pretty funny. I like how they include that, though, when, like, it's not like Nancy actually does anything on the stage. She doesn't do any stage acting. I feel like if you really wanted to do that, you should have brought the Grease one into it, because at least we actually have to, like, don't we have to say lines? I don't remember if we actually get something for us to memorize the lines, but I swear as Nancy, we go up on the stage, don't we? And we recite stuff, and you're like, well,
maybe.
Don't we? In the Grease one? It's one of the newer ones.
I was thinking Merchant in Venice, when she goes on stage in a cat suit and does her little dance.
Well, yeah, but she's not.
She's on a
She's not.
stage.
Well, she is, but she's not actually reciting anything. We're just. That one gives me ladies of the night kind of dancing. I'll be honest with
Oh
you.
yeah, no, it's wild for sure.
Did you say Merchant of Venice? Or what did you say?
I'm sure I did.
I think you did. I was also like, wait, what? But then you said cat dancing, and I knew what you meant.
What is it?
Well, now I don't know.
Merchant of Venice is a Shakespeare.
Because you said that, and my brain was like, what? That's
Phantom of Venice.
It's the Phantom of Venice, yeah.
Merchant of Venice is Shakespeare. And
Phantom of Venice. It's Phantom of the
Nancy.
Opera and Merchant of Venice. That's so funny.
Oh no. Man, we are 20 minutes into this and it's already a disaster. Fabulous.
The Greece one is the Labyrinth of Lies or something like that.
Yes.
Have you played that one?
Yes. I don't think we perform anything on stage.
What? I swear we do. We have to say lines. Maybe it's not in front of like a huge audience, but we do at least practice it. I swear we do. Okay, you keep talking about it and I'm going to Google it.
So another thing I just wanted to, I just love to check on what's in the news, what articles are being posted. And I saw an article by the Daily Mail, which, is a trustworthy, good news site. But, they're fun. They have fun. Anyway, so they were talking about a new study that just came out that they were looking. So research of more than 13,000 video game characters has revealed that just 35% of words are spoken by women. Now, they took 6.2 million words from the scripts of only 50 popular role-playing games. So yes, it's 13,000 video game characters, but they were using only 50 games. Of those 50 games, the lowest of the 50, with just 6.7 and 6.4% of female dialogue, was Kingdom Hearts 3D and King's Quest 6. Now, at the high end, with 80% female dialogue, is King's Quest 4. So, King's Quest, I don't know. And King's Quest 2 had 79. So, King's Quest 2 and 4, lots of ladies talking. King's Quest 6, almost none. So, I don't know what that says about the series as a whole. And then Final Fantasy 13 had 54.6. So, King's Quest 4, 2, and then Final Fantasy 13 had the highest percentage of females talking. I don't know. I also tried to click on the link to the quote-unquote controversial research from the Daily Mail article, and it was a broken link. It took me to an error page. So I can't even go and look at whatever research they were discussing poorly. But I'm excited that research is being done on these sort of things and that people are really looking at, female characters and female interactions in games. I find that fun, regardless of how actually successful it is. I like that they're trying.
I'm listening. I'm still looking. I swear we get up on the stage and this... Unless I don't know what else I could be picturing in my head. I do remember watching you play this game because I think I remember watching you try to solve the hand puzzle where you're like moving the...
Oh, yeah. No, I had no idea what I was doing with that one.
Yeah, I remember that. And you didn't want us to backseat game, which is totally fair. But I think there was someone in there who... like they couldn't help themselves. They were trying not to, but they really were like, I can't believe you're just not understanding this. And I was like, oh my goodness.
That's how it always goes. Nancy games, I don't know. I think it's probably just anytime there's a puzzle in general, people are so impatient at times when people are not doing the puzzle quickly enough for them and they're just like, oh my gosh, how could you not know this?
It's well, and I don't understand how hard it is when you're like streaming to um like your brain is managing two different things, so trying to
Mm-hmm. But
I
even
don't know,
if
you
it
know what I mean?
wasn't, even if streaming
Well,
was
no,
like,
I know.
it's still like, guys, if somebody's doing this and they're not getting it right away, part of the fun of the puzzle is puzzling it out. If it's driving you
True.
bananas, walk away. Like, go do something else, come back, or just leave the, like, it's fine. You don't need to be there if it's driving you bananas that somebody is not solving something quickly enough for you. Like, that's, it's not your business.
True. I think the only time watching you solve a puzzle where I got I don't know if frustrated is the right word, but where I was kind of losing my mind was the I think it's Castle Malloy is what the
Oh,
game is, but it's the wedding party and you're trying to choose where everyone sat. Is that Castle Malloy?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and you there's like two hints or not two of the lines told you um like pretty much gave you who had to be right here and who had to be right here on the table, and then that
Mm-hmm.
kind of pretty much determined how you could do the rest. And it like you kept reading them and you like kept saying it, and so everything kept being wrong because you just wouldn't put the right person here and here. And it was like a half hour of you doing it, and
No.
I was like, I can't say I might not have been a half hour, but it was a good while where everything just wasn't quite working because of those two. And you didn't want help, which is fair. I totally understand. But I was like, oh my goodness, just step back for a second and only focus on these two in your head, please. It'll make your life so much easier because you're understanding every other clue.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not working because of those two people. It was so funny. And I don't remember if it was this corner or this corner of the table, but it was
Mm.
like those were what determined how you did the rest of the thing. So
Yeah, I have some
that was pretty funny.
confidence blindness on that, where if I'm just like, nope, that one I know for sure, set in stone, done, dusted, do not touch, and then I just scan right by it. And
That's what kept happening. You're like, no, they have to be here. And someone was like, I don't, and the someone who had never played this before, didn't know anything, was like, I don't feel like that's right. And you're like, no, because of this, and this, they have to be here. I was like, oh, you're so close. If you just flip it the right, just flip two around, then you'll be fine. Then it'll help. Anyways, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to like put you on blast or anything. I
oh
was
no,
just
that's fine. It's something I'm aware of myself, something I'm dealing with. I'm
well,
a Virgo
otherwise though,
rising, like it's hard.
otherwise I don't think I've ever had an issue watching you. Even like if I know quote unquote what the answers from having played the games
Mm-hmm.
or that maybe that one game enough times, I still didn't feel like annoyed watching you because I feel like it's pretty I don't know if it's I don't know if saying it's pretty easy is the right way, but like I can watch your brain working and seeing
Mm-hmm.
like your thought process, and like your thought process makes sense, and watching you logic through it. So then it doesn't feel like you're taking a long time or it's obnoxious. That one was just like you were just your worst enemy. That
Yeah. Yeah.
that's funny.
No, I
I
feel
s-
like, especially with puzzle games like Nancy Drew,
mhm.
there are just a lot of people who have played through the games or know the games super, super
Yeah.
well. And they're like, I would be doing this so fast. And it's like, well, you go do it
Well,
then, or
great.
go watch a
Mhm.
speedrunner or something like that. Like, we don't we don't have to do it like that. It's okay.
But also, why are you watching someone speed through it? Like, unless they're a speedrunner, in which case, okay, I understand. But if they're just normally playing the game, why are you wanting to watch someone who's just gonna cruise right through it? You know, like I feel like the joy of a lot of the games watching you play is you've never played them before, or maybe it's been a really long time, so you don't necessarily
Mm.
remember. So it's you like seeing you now versus as a child going through it and working through it
Mhm.
and all of
Mhm.
that and experiencing it for the first time.
Well, and now even when I replay games, I still, have to. I mean, there are 32 games to go through.
Hmm.
Like, there's a lot, so I'm not going to remember everything from everything. So there are definitely some pieces where I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I remember that now I have to go here, and now I have to go here, and I'm going to have to go and talk to this person. But yeah, there are plenty of the games I've only played once, maybe twice, and so there's still a lot of like brain power that I have to use. But even games that
Yeah.
I know really, really well, like
Hmm.
I still enjoy playing them at
Right.
a normal pace. Now they don't take me a long time because I'm not rushing through them, but I do know where to go next
Right.
as opposed to just like trying to do it as fast as possible.
I have what I call my Nancy book, and this was the first time where I went through all the books and or all the games in order
Mhm.
and sped
Mhm.
run them, and I took the diligent notes. So every time I replay, I just pull this out so I don't have to rewrite all of that crap again. But like you can also see where each time I play it, I make notes of different things or I notice something else or
Mhm.
I change how I wrote my note and like I add it. So this is my cuz like some of it too, I worked really hard on them.
Yeah.
Oh, what I want to show probably the ones I'm most proud of or was the what's the Scarlet Hand? What number is that?
Like 6.
Yeah. Yes. Secret of the Scarlet Hand. I took my time
Oh, you drew
drawing
them
out
all.
the symbols. And so I'm like pretty proud of that one and like writing that stuff. So and then it's all in one place too. I find that very
Mhm.
aesthetically pleasing. Or like I have a ton of the different code breakers written out to
Mm.
always be able to look back at them and stuff. So my Nancy book. Did I ever show you the scrapbook I started working on?
No, I know we've talked about it, but I don't think I've seen it.
I have it right here too. Sorry, side note, then I'll stop. I have to get back to it, but I started imitating like Nancy's scrapbook.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ah,
So you've written
ah,
out all of the Nancy Drew games, and then each page is showing photos and
it's the
printouts.
case, it's the copy. Yeah. But like you know how you can look at it in the game, like her
Yeah,
scrapbook?
yeah.
I'm yeah. So I like
That's
trying to
so
figure out
cool.
ways to imitate it. I think the one I'm really proud of. Oh, this one I was pretty proud of because I had to try and like imitate his picture and all of that.
Yeah.
And then I, oh, the ID. I made the ID as well, and I like laminated it to look like an ID, and I had to try and cut out. So I was pretty proud of that one.
Gabe, look at
Yeah.
you. So crafty.
The only thing that's super awkward is I think the case numbers might be messed up too,
Oh no.
but I don't know if it's the case numbers or if it's just this. If I mixed up 3 and 4, but I think it might be the case numbers are mixed up.
Because this is 3, right?
Yeah,
And then this is 4.
but was this supposed to be 3?
No, Haunted Mansion is 3.
Or what did I mess up? Oh no. That's not what I messed up. I think what I
Okay.
messed up is that wait, okay, let me make sure I'm on this right. What is number 3 supposed to be? Message in a Haunted Mansion, right?
Yes.
Okay, so is that... Isn't Message in a Haunted... That's when we meet that one lady, right? Mrs. Hotchkiss. Is that...
No.
Is that haunted?
Treasure in the Royal Tower.
Oh, it's not.
Treasure in the Royal Tower is the Marie Antoinette one.
Okay, so then this is what I think I messed up, is that one of my issues was I would get all this extra space because I couldn't quite lay it out how they laid it out. So some of the stuff that was like hints or clues, I started like these. They're like what little clues are kind of hidden throughout. So I think what I messed up is that Message in a Haunted Mansion was all the symbols, right? The like
Chinese symbols. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So they're in this one. They're in number 4 instead of number 3.
Oh.
So number 3
and I
has
see a
number
Diego
4
Valdez.
clues. Yeah. So number 3 has number 4 clues, and number 4 has number 3 clues. But that's fine, right? It makes sense. You know, how are they? It's a mystery, right?
Yeah.
Who knows what they are? Oh, yeah. And then I had to try and make little tiny fake pamphlets that like look and feel like pamphlets.
Oh my gosh.
I have to keep going. I stopped after number 4, but I was actually really proud of these. I was like, man,
those are really cool.
I'm hoping I can keep working on this summer. So what I'd been doing was my new playthrough of the Nancy Drews, which I stopped at when we played Shadow Ranch, I think, was I would play the game and I would download that, and then while I was editing it to put on YouTube, I would screenshot from my playthrough the pictures I needed for the scrapbook and like going through that. So it took a lot of work, but it was actually so much fun. And like looking back at it again, I'm like, holy cow, I was kind of crafty.
You are crafty.
So, I was actually impressed at my work. Looking at it after I did, I was kind of like, oh man, I could have done this so much better. But like looking at it again now a year later, I'm like, oh wow, look at me go.
Oh wow.
Anyways.
Wow.
Oh wow. Wow. Shut up.
Yesterday, we did our first ever Twitch stream. Wow.
We did.
On our No Side Quests Twitch account, which was really, really fun. It was a really good time. In our last episode...
Wait. Did we figure out why we were unsearchable on Twitch?
Well, we're searchable now.
Did we figure that out? We are. So...
Yeah.
Okay, so it's somehow fixed. Okay, our Twitch is No Side Quest, just so you guys know if you want to go look. Twitch.tv/NoSideQuest. Continue.
Yes.
Sorry.
So, in our last episode, we went off kind of on a little bunny trail of a bunch of those old Flash games and dress-up games and virtual games that we played online during the early 2000s, early to mid 2000s. And we found a website called Numuki, Numuki, that had a whole bunch of those games stored. And I mean Barbie games, My Scene, Bratz, a bunch of Disney and Nickelodeon games. It had Winx Club. And so on stream on our Twitch yesterday, Gabe and I went through and played a whole bunch of those games, including like a Garfield quote unquote horror game. Anyway, it was just really, really, really fun.
I made note of what we did, all we played, so we'll remember. Okay. Because initially when we were thinking about this episode, we were thinking about the episode where we somehow, I don't even remember why, I thought of Dream Life by Hasbro and the Designer's World, which I still have to figure out if we can ever do that. If I can get those and somehow like plug them into the TV and you can see it and we can record it. I don't know. I still have to figure that out. But then we were talking about how we also played Barbie games back in the day. My Scene, Bratz. I made note of the Mary-Kate and Ashley Sweet 16, which was a GameCube game, but it was like in this this time.
Mm-hmm.
And also I felt like it kind of matched what seemed to be the genre of games that developers were pushing to try and get females to play. Like this is what they thought the women wanted. The girls of gaming wanted.
And they were not wrong, because there definitely were lots of girlies who played those games. Like when we were going through some of these games, I had just so many memories coming back in. Now, I'm not saying
Listen,
all
they weren't
girlies
wrong,
wanted to play these,
but they weren't right.
but there were definitely girlies who did want
Yeah.
to.
Yes.
Girlies who had
I agree.
grown out maybe of like playing with their own dolls and were maybe a little bit older, maybe, or maybe just didn't have the dolls and were excited about computer games and excited about fashion and hair and makeup, and you didn't have to buy anything. So it was so fun to do this virtual dress up. What's the one that we played with the really wacky hair?
Oh, that was the Winx. That was from the Winx where we had the hair salon.
Yeah, there
Is
was
that
a
what you're
hair
talking about?
salon where we had to chop people's
We had a
hair
Winx
and
hair salon.
yeah, and do makeup and get their bangs all working. And we got points based on how closely we did it to what they wanted. And the hair colors were wild. Anyway, it was just a good time. And it's something that if you own a doll, if you cut their hair, you cannot get that back. So it's just a fun way to like still do it, but not have any lasting consequences, which is something I say a lot about games, right? There's no lasting consequences for most games. Like,
Unless AI comes and starts data mining us and paying attention to what we do and then giving us all kinds of harsh consequences.
please do
Sorry.
not create your games solely with AI. I'm begging you. Actually, I mean, go for it. I just will not play it. So, if that affects you at all, knowing that I, Lauren, Sweetie Patat, will not be playing your games, take that to heart.
But okay, so right. So this is where I will say they weren't wrong in that there were a lot of girls who liked playing these games, but they weren't right in that it's I feel like there's a huge assumption that these are the only kinds of games girls would really want to play. And like that's not true. Girls enjoy just as many different variances of games as, guys do. Granted, I think it's more normal for girls to play quote unquote more masculine games than it is for guys to play more quote unquote feminine games. I don't know a lot of guys who played the Barbie Flash games or the Dream Life or any of that, but I know a lot of girls who played the Call of Duties, the I was going to say Wolfenstein, but I don't know if that's the right one. But like the very what you'd think are male kinds of games. Go ahead. You had a comment.
I like to think of these Barbie games and my scene as like gateway games. Because, like,
Right.
I didn't have people in my life who were playing video games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we didn't have consoles. Like, we weren't a gaming family. And I was the oldest child. So if I didn't get into it, it was going to take a bit. So I think having these kind of games online and being like, ooh, this is a game. And it was like, for girls. And so it was something that appealed to me to play. And then from there I started playing other games once I got used to like playing games on the computer and started being like, I want something with maybe just a little bit more oomph to it, or a little more exciting, or a little bit more using my brain or whatever I was doing. But it was a way for me to be like, ooh, I want to be doing something online that's interactive.
Mm-hmm.
I could start out by playing these fashion games and like have fun with that. and that will kind of introduce me into seeing some other Flash games and learning some other controls and doing some other things. So it kind of works your way in and says, perfect, you know how to use a computer. Now let's move on to phase 2.
Well, my thought process more wasn't the type of game itself. It was more of like I could not just off the top of my head name the male equivalent of Flash games, because I know there were sites that were more towards boys when it came to Flash games, and like these were on websites more geared towards girls, or literally on websites basically saying games for girls or stuff like that. That's more of what I meant. Call of Duty is what I could come up with off the top of my head for a more typically male known game. So yes, I would agree they were gateway games, but I was still just thinking of the Flash games when I was trying to say that. It seems like, because the only times where I really saw like gender neutral Flash games was, you know, like Disney, Nickelodeon, but even those seemed kind of to be flavored more towards a girl side, more towards a boy's side. But a lot of those shows are kind of just, so like Hannah Montana, okay, more often than not went towards the girl side because of just how the show Hannah Montana was. But the one I was talking to you about, Brandy and Mr. Whiskers, two of those games I would say were very gender neutral. It wasn't, and the one I'm specifically thinking of is it was essentially a Flash game platformer. Do you know what a platform? Right, you know, the platformers where you're like, what's the popular one that everyone knows? Hollow Knight, Hollow Knight, or something. It was one of those, right?
Mario,
and you could, sure, but Mario's more like this, and the platformer I'm talking about, like Hollow Knight, is like this, right?
Sure. Okay.
Progression is vertical, not horizontal. If that makes sense.
Well, I played a lot of Neopets. Sorry, go back. Continue.
That's okay. That's okay. But that one, I'm pretty sure if I remember, you could play as, or is it Mandy? No, Brandy. Is that what we decided? Because Mandy is from the Grimm show.
Yeah.
Mandy's the Grimm show. So Brandy. So you could play as the girl dog Brandy, or you could play as the male bunny Mr. Whiskers, right? But the layout of what you were doing looked the same, and it was just a jungle, essentially, is what it was. But anyways, that's what, yeah. I don't remember where I was going with my tangent.
Geared for girls, geared for boys.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I'm saying that those are really the only gender neutral sites that I saw for games.
Yeah.
I will agree, though, that probably did help to get a lot of girls who didn't think about gaming into gaming, which is awesome.
Or just didn't know where to find them.
Yeah, that too.
So if you're on girlslife.com or whatever, or americangirl.com, and they're like, oh, here's some fun games to play that are like, you know, suitable or whatever for a young girl that's not going to be anything inappropriate in any capacity. All right, here you go. Parents can feel very comfortable with their young, impressionable child playing any of these games.
Right. Oh, right. Okay. Yes, and this was where my brain was going, was that, right, so like you have those sites, or you had the Winx site that had all the Winx games, or, you know, Barbie, right, instead of what we were using, which was a combined version of all of them. All of them had their own individual sites. But if you think about it, all of them still were basically fashion, cooking, changing your room and stuff, right? They didn't. So just because it was on a girl site, or just because it was on Barbie, they still didn't think girls would be interested in anything beyond that. That's my gripe. That's what I was trying to get to, is that is my gripe. So when we played the Polly Pockets, right, that was really fun because I remember they a little bit went beyond that, right? So we were playing that. The one we played was we were trying to find objects within the bigger picture. I don't really know what you call
Hidden
that.
objects. Yeah.
Yeah, a hidden object game. That's, I would say, a more gender neutral game. Game, because it's a puzzle. You're just using your brain. So like I appreciated that, and that's what I was trying to say. Is I wish the Winx and the Barbies had done more of that, because even when we were looking at what the newer games were for that, it was still fashion, makeup, cooking, shopping, dress, whatever, and that
Well,
makes me a little sad. Yes.
yeah. I mean, I
Go ahead.
can't speak for Winx because, as we discussed, I'm not very familiar with that franchise. But like
Mm-hmm.
for my scene specifically, right? So they are a Mattel brand. It was a series of dolls.
Right.
And they kind of had, like, if you aren't familiar with the My Scene dolls, they're similar enough to Bratz that the company that makes Bratz sued Mattel and won because the My Scene girls had traits.
I think I remember that.
Attributable,
yeah, okay.
Or close enough to the Bratz traits so that their company had or was able to win their suit, and then Mattel stopped making My Scene dolls. But like the first My Scene doll.
Before you keep going with that, my question is, so Bratz are like younger than Barbies, right? Bratz were supposed to be in like high school. I feel like Barbie was kind of just an age neutral thing. Okay, so did they have I don't really know as much about Bratz. Okay, so like Barbie, you had like Nurse Barbie or Teacher Barbie, or so the Bratz wouldn't necessarily have professions, right? But did they have maybe like a more narrowed interest? Like, was there like a sports brat doll?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, keep going.
Yeah, so Bratz, I don't know if you saw the Bratz movie that came out.
I remember the commercials.
I love that movie so much. But yes, so there was like a sporty one, and then like a smart one, and then like a fashion designer one, and
Actually, I have another question.
like a musically talented one or whatever. I don't know.
The Monster High dolls are similar to the Bratz dolls, right?
Yes.
The Monster High, was that like the newer generation version of Bratz dolls?
So
I know it came after Bratz dolls, but I don't really know what was the point of the Monster High, except that they were fun because you could be like a werewolf or a vampire and stuff. But
okay, let's go back. So
sorry.
Because Monster High is also Mattel.
Oh,
so
that's the My Scene kind of stuff.
Mattel did Barbie.
Oh,
Mattel. So the first My Scene doll was Barbie. Like she was blonde. She looked like the My Scene dolls, but her name was Barbie. And then her friends, her My Scene doll friends, were named after various areas of New York. So there was like Kennedy, there was Madison, Chelsea. Anyway, Barbie, Madison, and Chelsea were the three original My Scene dolls. So this was kind of like new generation of Barbie, I think was the intention.
Okay, but it is after Barbie.
Yes.
So it's not actually Barbie.
It's a new line of dolls that they're kind of they saw the popularity of the Bratz dolls, and they were like, let's try to bring Barbie into that. So like there still was
did Barbie they make line. The original Barbie? So they did make the original Barbie though.
Yes.
Okay, but then they made an updated one trying to match the Bratz.
They started a new line.
I'm following.
And named their blonde, blue-eyed, or whatever Barbie doll in this new line that kind of had more of the Bratz characteristics. They named her Barbie as well. and then gave her new friends.
Okay.
They then retired the Barbie
Okay.
character and just had a bunch of new friends. So they kind of like backed away from
in the new
having
line.
Barbie do
Got
that.
it.
Yeah. And so this new line of My Scene dolls, which included a doll named Barbie. Anyway. So they retired those because in 2005, MGA Entertainment filed the lawsuit, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so...
so is their comeback the Monster High?
That's where I'm going with this. Okay. So,
okay. Sorry.
So I'm just looking at the legal issues of the My Scene dolls because I had part of it in my brain. Anyway, so MGA Entertainment filed the lawsuits against Mattel in 2005, alleging duplication of its Bratz dolls' multi-ethnic looks, fashions, and packaging. And then Mattel countersued MGA Entertainment, saying that the creator of Bratz had been working for Mattel when he developed the idea for Bratz in 1999 and had taken that idea over to MGA. And then MGA developed Bratz. So they were like, I think we get this for intellectual property since he was working for us when he came up with the idea. So the Bratz creator, Carter Bryant, and Mattel reached a settlement. So then Mattel received $100 million in damages. And then further issued an injunction that forced MGA to stop producing Bratz. In 2011, there was a retrial where MGA toy makers said that, I'm sorry, in producing the My Scene dolls, Mattel stole our trade secrets and violated antitrust laws. So they're saying, even if the intellectual property was developed, that still doesn't mean that they can steal our ideas and whatever. So they sought $1 billion in damages, but then the judge found in favor of Mattel, but MGA received an award of $309 million. So they got their $1 million in back and more. Anyway, the company was able to produce Bratz again, and then Mattel retired the My Scene line. Now, so this is
then Monster High.
So
comeback season. I love it. So we can't have normal people ones too close to the Bratz. We have to create monsters because then surely they can't say we're copying.
Right. So Mattel stopped producing My Scene in 2011, which is when Bratz came back online. And Monster High was launched by Mattel in 2010. It is for a different age demographic, but...
So if it was launched in 2010, though, is that after the retrial?
Sorry.
Or did the retrial happen?
To be clear, Mattel stopped selling My Scene dolls in the US in 2008, but was still selling them internationally until 2011. So they stopped in the US in 2008, and 2 years later came out with Monster High dolls.
When did the first trial happen? What year did the first trial happen?
2005.
I see.
And then in 2006...
Wait, Bratz couldn't produce from 2005 to 2011?
2006. Yeah, 2006, I believe.
Holy cow. 5 years without... Man, that's crazy. That doesn't even seem possible. Interesting. Okay, so we're... Trial 2005.
Trial 1, 2005. Trial 2, 2006. And at that point, Bratz stops going. And then 2011, we got counter sewage. And then Bratz comes back. Okay.
But 2008, they no longer sell My Scene dolls in the US, but they're still... So are they making new ones internationally, or are they just reselling what's already come out?
I'm not sure.
Okay, it's a little too complicated. Sorry.
But they're not selling in the US. They continue selling internationally. I think if you're continuing to sell for 3 years internationally, you have to be making more. You're probably not putting a lot of effort into it, but you're making some more.
Okay, so then my question would be, did they suspect the retrial was going to happen, right? So when they filed for the retrial isn't going to happen right away. There's time between that. So do you think they could smell the roses in the air? They knew what was going to happen. They suspected maybe they weren't going to be successful. So they were like, how do we come back with a different doll?
So,
I'm sorry, keep going with what
according to
you're saying. This is
Wikipedia
so
for
interesting.
Monster High, I'm just in the Wikipedias right now. Thank you, Wikipedia. Allegedly, Mattel began conceptualizing, and I say Mattel began two people at Mattel began conceptualizing the Monster High franchise in 2007. So 2006 is when Bratz went offline. 2007, they filed for trademark of Monster High. So Garrett Sander.
Okay, theory. This is my new theory. Okay? Even though they won the Bratz, quote unquote, won the Bratz trial, right? And the Bratz had to stop producing. It was still bad PR. It still looked bad for them. So they were like, okay, we have to come back bigger and better than ever. So even though it took a long time to get there, that was the Monster High, was how do we top Bratz without being too close to it? Okay.
So a packaging designer at Mattel named Garrett Sander, he and his twin brother Darren went Garrett and his twin brother Darren. How this is phrased is just sending me. Garrett and his twin brother Darren went shopping with young girls one day.
Okay.
No idea of, are they related to these young girls? They're just shopping with young girls. Okay, great.
They liked Bratz over my scene.
Where they noticed that young girls were into goth fashion. This is 2007. I'm starting high school. Okay. So the girlies are into goths. This served as inspiration for creating a toy brand with a dark aesthetic. Darren was involved with the early concepts for the brand. He came up with the slogan, "Where freaky just got fabulous." He also remarked because the characters were monsters, they had more freedom to do things that ordinary kids could not do. Inspirations for the brand include children's interests in Tim Burton and Lady Gaga. Now, according to...
I love that Tim Burton inspired Monster High dolls.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, 2007, there was so much going on with... What's that brand? Hot Topic.
Yeah.
And Spencer's.
Oh my gosh.
And
yeah,
all of the Nightmare Before Christmas shenanigans. Frankoween. No.
So you're talking about this from high school, but I still know what you're talking about because this was all from, but I was in middle school, right?
Yeah.
So this was like my 7th and 8th, and you're talking this is so funny. Yeah. Oh, yes. The Corpse Bride. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my land. Was this when Coraline came out around this time, too?
Probably.
That wasn't quite as goth, but it was still like a darker.
Yeah. But yeah, that whole just like...
Spencer's. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Spencer's, Hot Topic, all of those. Yeah. I have very strong memories of my high school career. If you have seen me or know anything about me, obviously did not go down that path. I was a little intimidated by it.
We all dabbled, though, during that time period. We all dabbled. We couldn't help ourselves. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting you. I'm so bad this episode. Fine. I'm sorry.
So I'm looking at the merchandise in the merchandise section of the Wikipedia page. And according to a social media post made by Garrett Sander, the very first prototypes of the dolls during its development were made using head molds from another Mattel doll line that was never officially released, bodies from Barbie collector dolls, and with some accessories from My Scene dolls. So they definitely were kind of using a variety
Frankenstein.
of...
They were Frankenstein dolls.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm sorry.
Over 750 different dolls have been released since the 2010 launch of Monster High.
For Monster High dolls? 750? How many does Barbie have? There's no way she has that many. That's crazy.
Probably.
Really? I guess maybe. I don't know. That's so many. It's like an unfathomable amount.
Yeah, it is truly a lot.
I still think my theory is right, but then when they're having to, pitch to the CEO, how do we do the bigger and badder than Bratz? That's where that came from. It was like, they were like, okay, so we did some research and this is what we found and this is what we got to do. Okay. Did it say how many different Barbie dolls? Or could you not find it?
Looking. Oh, there's competition from Bratz dolls. LOL. Because 2001 is when Bratz arrived. And in 2004, sales figures showed that Bratz dolls were outselling Barbie dolls in the UK. But Mattel maintained that in terms of number of dolls, clothes, and accessories, Barbie remained the leading brand. So it makes sense that Bratz dolls were outselling Barbies if everyone already had Barbies and they just wanted to buy more stuff for their Barbies as opposed to buying the new Bratz dolls. Anyway.
This says there are more than 170 dolls with different skin tones and hairstyles.
Oh, okay.
For Barbies. So 700, I guess it depends on what are they deciding that makes it for 750. That just
I mean, there's so many characters, and then all the characters have their different, like, it's different
just different versions of the character?
Yeah, I don't think it's 750 different.
I see.
Specific characters, but just like how Barbie has like Skipper and all the other ones, Kelly, whatever.
Those would be like friends of hers, but there's Nurse Barbie, Dr. Barbie. Right? That's what you would be saying. Okay, I get it. Okay. Because you were talking about this and you were talking about the whole suing and all of that. So this makes me think of, right, you had American Girl dolls, and then I don't know if it's Target, but in Target, there's like basically American Girl dolls, but they're called, is it Next Generation or something like that? How is that not suable? Because you cannot tell me those are not. The first time I looked at them, I was like, what am I looking at? Why does this look like an American Girl doll? I was so shook.
Our generation?
Oh, maybe it's our generation. That might be it.
What is the difference between American Girl and Our Generation? The biggest difference between the American Girl doll brand and Our Generation brand is the price.
Exactly.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's like the Walmart version of American Girl doll. It's crazy.
Well, they do sell them at Walmart, so.
American Girl dolls or the Our Generation? Oh, well, I would figure if they're at Target, they're probably at Walmart. But that's what I'm saying, right? You have the name brand, and then you have the knockoff brand. So how is that different, though, between the Mycene and the Bratz? Was it Mycene that tried to go after Bratz first, or did Bratz go after Mycene first?
Bratz went after Mycene, and then Mattel went after the creator of Bratz for intellectual property.
Right, that was their coming back at them. Yeah, okay. That interesting. All very interesting. I love that. Okay, I'm sorry. Was there more past that you were going to keep telling us about?
Well, we went down this road because I was thinking about why there's so many decor.
Oh, the fashion games.
And fashion games. It's because a lot of them are based on doll lines that they want to sell fashion and accessories for. So there's just a lot of like, oh yeah, here's your doll. Here's what she can look like. Isn't this fun? You can do this at home if you buy the clothes, the room accessories, all these. So there's sales pitches. And that's the main.
This was my comeback to that. Because that's right. So I predicted what you were trying to say to me. And this was why. Well, sorry. I don't know why my brain's acting like this is a debate. But like I was thinking about what you were going to say to me and what my response was to that. That happens a lot on our podcast. I don't know if you've ever known that. But usually when I interrupt you to ask a question, it's because my brain's already speculating the overall what you're going to say and how am I going to respond to that. So sometimes I ask a question like I'm a lawyer or some shit to clarify where Okay, so I asked you about
what's my
of
success
course,
rate?
always, dear, always. That's so bad. I don't know. It's awful that I think like this. Okay, anyways, so okay, I asked if they had a specific niche things about them, right? The sports bar, Bratz, the this, and this, right? Okay, and this was why. Remember when we were looking at? Okay, actually, I don't know if you looked at the Polly Pocket games, but I looked at a lot of the Polly Pocket games, trying to figure out which one we were gonna do. But then I was also thinking about at preschool, we will sometimes let the kids play for 10 minutes on the computer, but they can only play on PBS Kids. So I've seen a lot of the PBS Kids games. Okay, so if we have so let's say we have a sports brat doll, okay, right? Why couldn't they make a flash game where she's some kind of sporty thing, right? How can that not be a promotional sale for her? Why, you can show some new gear in that and stuff, but like, why couldn't we have like that? So, like, she could have a sports game. And then I was thinking, because I was trying to compare it to Barbie, and I was thinking about the fact that Barbie has all these different professions. They could have had like a nurse game. I don't know why I can only think of nurse and teacher Barbie. I know there's more than that. Like a horse Barbie or something, but that's the ones I keep thinking about, right? So why couldn't they have used those niche interests beyond just the fashion and stuff of those dolls to make more diverse games like that? Now,
I totally agree.
I know you're right. It's all marketing, so I get why. But it just feels like they think that's the only way they'll get the sales. Like that's all girls are, and and they're not.
Totally. No, there was so much of like, I mean, I'm looking at the Bratz games right now, and yeah, it's all like makeovers, love meters, perfect dates, racing stars. Okay, there's several. Bratz car parking. Wait, hold on.
Okay, racing stars, fun. Do we have
must investigate
a race car Bratz? Why can't we have a Bratz doll that like is obsessed with swimming and scuba diving? And then why couldn't we have a game where like that Polly Pocket game, right, where she's holding on to the dolphin? Okay, why can't the Bratz doll hold on to some sea creature? Maybe make it a little more complicated than the Polly Pocket one was, but like something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I don't know why I got so passionate about this. Wait, tell us. Is it more than just fashion? Is it something that isn't just fashion or cooking? Also, I think I hate the sexism of it all being cooking games. Like that's all. I just hear the guys in my FPS games being like, "Shouldn't you be in the kitchen? Why don't you go back to the kitchen where you came from? Make me a sandwich." I think that's what was really triggering me yesterday, seeing all those cooking games. And them like going towards young girls like that is all I could hear was every time a toxic male gamer said that crap to me. Shouldn't you be barefoot pregnant and in the kitchen? Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm ready.
No, that's fine. Is my screen loaded? Oh, yeah, here we go. So
it is.
There is a Bratz game where you have to park your car.
Is this because of the sexist stereotype that women can't drive? Stop. This is so bad. And you're... Oh my God. I hate it. At first, looking at this, I was thinking of that child game where you had the square and you had all the different cars in it and you had to try and move the cars to get one car all the way across. This is what this makes me think of, but like...
Okay, so the entire game is... and there are different levels. Oh!
I can't believe...
That was not a crash. Shut up. So...
Wow. Only a woman would ride the curb.
Jesus. So... Sorry. I did not crash. Lord almighty. Okay, so this entire game, like, you're in a car and you are basically driving around at this point in parking lots and
Oh God,
with
you're
a
by the
whole bunch
curb.
of just other cars that are like around, and you have to like maneuver through them and try not to hit anything and then park
Can you
your
do a
little
backwards
vehicle.
parking? Can you do a 90-degree back in?
Ma'am, what do you think?
I think you totally
Congratulations.
How
I
is
did that.
how
Thank
is
you.
that?
I was in the
Oh
slot.
my
I didn't
gosh.
hit anything. This is great. I love this. All right. Sorry.
I don't know how I feel about that one. That's still okay.
It's very funny.
Well, it is a variety, so okay, but it just makes me think of all the men who say this stereotypical sexist thing of women can't drive.
Oh, I know. That's why it's so fun.
So
as soon as I saw it, it was just like, oh no, this game is just about parking your car. It's like,
I can't.
what's up? Tell me more.
I can't. Basically, the thing is that Gabriel is upset that little girls didn't get a bigger diversity, okay?
At the time.
At the time. Well, still a little bit now, but yes, at the time, I feel like they way more targeted, like, this is the only thing women would be, or girls would be interested in. And I would just like to say, okay, one, I'm a little biased in that I was definitely raised, I think, as a tomboy. I hung out a lot with my dad and his guy friends, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But also, I think even if that hadn't been the case, I think I would still be like how I am.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I'm a very sexually fluid person. I can have male energy just as much as I can have female energy, and I can easily switch between them and it doesn't matter. I was never quite a fan of dolls, but that was also because when I was very little, like toddler and stuff, I watched Chucky with my dad. I didn't trust those hoes. I knew them Barbies were plotting my demise. However, my Barbies were my best friends during bath time, okay? They withheld the test of time and water. I also had a mermaid Barbie, and I really wanted to be a mermaid because I was obsessed with swimming. So I could totally get behind her back. My Barbies, though, I told you this. My Polly Pockets rode my dinosaurs, and my Barbies were the food.
Yes.
I did have, okay, I will say the one doll I unequivocally loved, had no feelings against, and I could say I'm a doll lover, is because I had every single Winx Girl doll. I should have brought those out. That would have been so good. I had every single Winx Girl doll. Yeah. And I loved those, but that's probably because they were magical. They were fairies and they could fly, and I really wanted to have wings and could fly. And, you know, my obsession with dragons, and that was like, okay. But I mean, I had dinosaurs, I had Hot Wheels cars, I had Legos, I had Barbies, I had Polly Pockets, because, you know, like my dad's mom, she wanted to get me a more feminine gift. So she gave me a lot of Polly Pockets. However, I actually loved Polly Pockets. This is another thing I'll say. I don't know why I'm outing myself this much. This is probably such a strange, I don't know how to explain this fully, but I always hated the men dolls. I hated the Ken dolls. They freaked me out. I didn't like them. And I hated the male Polly Pockets, at least the ones they initially tried to make when they were like, oh, let's make like boyfriends for Polly. Okay. So when I looked at my dolls, they were always a blank canvas to me. I know they had, you know, like boobs and like hips and stuff, but when I looked at them, it was a blank canvas, and they were whatever gender and personality I told them they were. So I had one Barbie in the bathroom who, that was always the boy. That was just the boy Barbie. And I did not see her any other way. And I think my sister once talked to me. Oh, I think she played with her and played with it as a girl. And I was like, I'm sorry. What do you mean that's a girl Barbie? That's a boy. I don't remember her name. I don't remember what his name was, but I was like, what do you mean? That's not, no. And that was the same thing with my Polly Pockets. I had this one Polly Pocket who was like, that was the male of the household. So my point was that um it makes me sad that there's so many children, boys and girls, who didn't have the same childhood
Mm.
I did, where
Mm.
they don't feel like they could equally enjoy all of that. I loved every toy. Toys are just toys to me. I didn't, as much as my guy friends and my girlfriends acted differently and told me that's not how it worked. To me, they were toys. Dinosaurs were dinosaurs. Barbies were Barbies. I could have both. It did not
Mm-hmm.
matter. There was no in little Gabe's world, every toy had its place and it had its where it fit in, and it was possible for all of them to coexist. And like, if I wish if I had pictures of like the things I built that had all of my different stuff in it. So that was my whole thing, is it makes me sad how they did the games, because it didn't offer the chance for them to have this more diverse experience. I feel like I was very blessed as a child to just fully be a child and live an imaginary world.
For people who have a young one in their life, what would you recommend they have the kid play, or like what are some good starter games for children in general, do you think?
Oh, you're asking me.
Yes.
Wait, I thought you were talking. Wait, can you repose? Wait, can you repose the question? I didn't realize this was a question. Okay.
Gabe, if
Yes.
for people who have children or youths in their lives that don't play games, or the people want to introduce gaming into the child's life, do you have any
Okay.
recommendations for the kind of games that they can play, or kind of how to introduce kids to gaming?
Okay, my first response to that would be, right. So, like what you're saying, the thing about Flash games that's nice is that they are free. You don't have to pay for them. So we were talking about Flash games, and I've also said this before. That wasn't really where my gaming experience started. My dad was a gamer, so he bought
Mm-hmm.
games, and he bought games for me. But obviously, not everyone can do that. So I would say you start right. Starting with the Flash games is good. It's a good gateway, but also, um, so the PBS is really nice because they actually learn stuff while
Mm-hmm.
they're playing. And that's a big thing that I've learned in my teaching, is the best way to teach kids is to teach while playing, because
Mm-hmm.
their brain, I would say it's like, because their brain shields are down. You know what I mean? They're not trying to fight you learning something. They're just open in there.
Mm.
And I think gaming could be used the same way. So obviously at my school they play the PBS Kids. I would recommend those. They actually are really entertaining, even if you aren't, like, you don't watch a ton of PBS. But then thinking on my childhood, I'd also say, like, I played all the Disney games,
Mm-hmm.
the Disney Flash games. And like I was saying, a lot of those were gender neutral, and they weren't just focusing on one thing or the other. Like the Kim Possible Flash games were so
Yes.
fun. So you did have the one shopping game, but you were parkour shopping. So maybe you were doing something girly, but at least you got to be a badass while you did it.
Well, and there's no problem with having girly games if you
Yes, that too.
also
Yeah.
like, so if your site has, some girly games for people who do want to just like do dress up or whatever, but then
Hmm.
also
Hmm.
have a variety of
Yes.
appropriate games so that kids who do want to, you know, either just play like parkour games, but then say, oh, a dress up game. Oh, maybe I'll test that out, or vice versa.
I think part of it too is just, I think this is also why I feel so strongly, is as a child I like to be challenged, and I still like to be challenged.
Mm.
A fashion game, I'm not saying it's not a challenge, but at least for me, it wasn't something I felt was as challenging or posed as much of a challenge to me as like the Brandy and Mr. Whiskers games too, right?
So that gets back to our ever arching question of why are you playing a game? Is it
Hmm. Hmm.
to like in a dress up game or a makeup game, you're being creative, you're playing with different things, you're experimenting, you're not necessarily doing it to achieve a goal
Mhm.
per se. There's
Right.
not like a target necessarily, but you are able to be creative and be flexible, and it's a fun social thing. Like you and I were having a great time playing those, where we were
Yes.
talking through and saying, "Ooh, what if you try this? What if you try this?" So there was that kind of interaction and social aspect as well, but it was, you know, creative. You were not trying to get a certain amount of coins
True.
or like do action items. It was just using your creativity.
Yes. Okay, let me amend that. I liked then and now, I liked my brain to be stimulated in different ways.
Mm.
So, right, I could enjoy, because I did play some of those fashion games, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could enjoy them because it stimulated me one way. But then I liked, like the two popular Disney Channel games I played with my friends was the Brandy Mr. Whisker ones. But then there was also a Lilo and Stitch. I think it was like Tiki Bowling or something like that.
Mm.
So I liked them because one, they were a challenge, but also it was like the old arcade game where you could see who was, my gosh, who was the best, right? Who had the highest score, and like trying to beat that and to
Mm.
be one of those people really up there. I also enjoyed that.
You
But
like a little
then, okay,
competition. Okay.
yes, well, I like the challenge of the game, but then also sometimes separately, like, right, like I play FPS games. I like the competition to show to pit my prowess against somebody else's. Okay, so going back to you're asking me what would I recommend, right? That would be the starter if you don't want to spend money. I obviously would always recommend the Nancy Drew, and that's not just because our channel has an obsession with Nancy Drew, but genuinely I think they're good games for kids, even though
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a lot harder for your kids to play them. Their brains just aren't quite working that way. It it starts to build critical thinking in them, problem solving, but they're also having fun.
Mm-hmm.
They're learning about a bunch of different stuff. It's a good way to connect with them because I think the beauty of those is when you have a kid playing them, the parent can be there too with them, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you can have that
Or older
bonding.
sibling, or
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I'd say those. I don't know what the equivalent would be today, but the more kid games that I played when I was younger. So I obviously played the more adult game Zanzara with my dad, or Sansera. We talked about that. But the kids game I played when I wasn't playing with him and was on my own was, I had the Harry Potter computer games. Um what was it called? I had a preschool game that was actually really entertaining and I played it well beyond my preschool years. I don't know what it was though. I don't even know if I have the cover for it. I had an Arthur game
Mm.
that I loved to death. That was a very kind of Pajama Sam
Mm-hmm.
esque kind of game.
Ready Fish, Pajama Sam. Yeah.
Yes. So, like, I don't know if they still make those kinds of games for kids now, but if they do, I would recommend those.
Mm.
Those kinds of games were so much fun. Um, I had a super cool Jurassic Park game that I loved the crap out of. It was so fun. It was called Danger Zone, and you could play by yourself or you could be multiplayer. So you had the competition and stuff in that you were against a friend or the AI. I always liked being Farrah Fossil.
Ha ha ha. That's good.
And so it was a purple car and a green car. Or Jeep. They were Jeeps. A purple Jeep and a green Jeep. And it was a board. And you I think you press the space bar to quote unquote roll the dice or something. It was like a Jumanji Jurassic Park board. So you would go around, like your Jeep would drive around the map squares, but it was like a map. And depending on where you landed, that was a certain mini game. So there's one mini game where you're trying to corral velociraptors and you have to like drive your Jeep up and down and your friend or whatever has to do it to try and keep them in so you can get as many of them in like cattle, like herding cattle, but they're
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
velociraptors. There's one where you had the T-Rex had like a cone of what it could see and it like and I don't know how to describe what I'm doing. I just did the visual, like the people listening can do it. It had like a line of sight and it rotated or moved its head, and you had to like sneak. And then a lot of times you'd have to wait behind a rock because then it would have to turn its head, and then you'd do this. And it had different speeds and it would change. Like it wasn't just one constant motion. So that one was really freaky. And you'd have to go get something, then come back to the Jeep. And there's a whole bunch of different. So I loved that one, but I also loved dinosaurs. So something like that, I feel like is so much fun.
Yeah.
And then I had the Shrek game. So those were really what I played as a child. But I assume today they still make really fun child PC games like that. Okay, so this is what I don't know is since I've gotten older and since I started Skyrim, whenever I get a game, I buy it digitally, like online. I buy it in Steam and Epic, right? I'm not going and getting a CD. So for kids, do you have to, as a parent, know how to use Steam and get kids games that way, or can you still go and get?
I think you can still go and get CD-ROMs. You can still go buy them. Yeah, but your computer has to have a CD-ROM slot. Mike talked me out of getting one or of having a CD slot on my computer, and I was just like, I don't know. Anyway, he talked me out of getting one. So I'm going to have to, in order to play any CD-ROM games, I have to,
You have to get a separate thing that you USB plug in.
Right.
Yeah.
And, the majority of the time that's fine, but, I've got some Nancy Drew games on CD-ROM, but I also have them on Steam, so it's just, doesn't matter. Anyway.
You couldn't have talked me out of that. I still make sure we get a CD. But I was just thinking about that in the sense that I feel like there might still be things today that you would have to do it through CD. They don't do. I don't know. If I'd have known you were going to ask me this question, I would have gone and looked at child gaming because now I'm curious, but also I feel embarrassed that I don't have the answer because you always paint me. I feel like I also kind of paint myself too as the gaming guru. I know all this stuff and now it's something I don't know. So now I'm
sorry to put you on the spot.
On me. How do I know male gaming, female gaming, but I don't know children gaming? Oh, shame.
Come on, Gabe.
Have them play Fortnite. Just kidding.
Just go play Minecraft, kids. It's fine.
You know what's crazy? One of my preschoolers plays Minecraft. Wait, this is something I have to share because this is something that blows my mind. It just and it's not the Minecraft. The Minecraft is where I first thought I was mind blown, and then I realized I could be mind blown beyond that. Okay. My 4-year-olds, some of them know. Oh my God, of course the names are going to blank on me. Okay, so the first one, right? Five Nights at Freddy. They know what that is. They've watched it or played it, okay? And one of them came to Halloween dressed as a scary animatronic from Five Nights at Freddy.
No.
They know Poppy's Playtime, which is also a horror game. I don't know if Poppy's Playtime comes from something that's a child thing, but I know it's a horror game. And then one of them knew this new indie horror game that it's child-esque stuff, but it's not meant for children. They didn't make it for children.
Yeah.
It's called Garten of Banban. Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay, well, it's about... so it has kindergarten stuff. That's okay. It has kindergarten stuff. That's why it's called the Garden of Banban. But it's a horror game. It's a horror kindergarten, okay? It's not actually meant... They knew what that stuff is. I think they're talking about some Huggy Wuggy thing. Let me Google this. I'm pretty sure Huggy Wuggy is a horror game too.
Wild.
So, okay. The Poppy Playtime really gets me. And they talk about how they've oh no, yeah, Huggy Wuggy's from Poppy Playtime. I was going to say, survive the evil toys waiting for you in the abandoned factory. Okay, no, yeah, they're all these horror time stuff. And I know enough about them. So these ones I've never played, but I have watched people play them because I love horror games and I love horror in general. Okay, and my little 4-year-olds are talking smack to each other about Poppy Playtime and about how they beat it and how fast they beat it. And like, I love Huggy Wuggy and like that, and having stuffed animals of them. It's insane, Lord. It's insane. It blows my mind. And I can't understand if like if it's like negligent parenting, like the parents just don't know what their kids are ingesting. Like maybe they aren't actually playing it, right? Maybe they get down the YouTube rabbit hole and somehow, some way, YouTube recommends a let's play of someone playing those games, and then they see it, right? And so then they see the
Or
stuffed
their
animals that
sibling
like
does it.
that too. Okay, so the Five Nights at Freddy ones, the Halloween, that's what I'm thinking that came from, was a sibling for her. The Poppy play, I don't know about the Poppy playtime, but then I'm wondering, like, do the parents just see the stuffed animals at Target or something and think, oh, it's just a stuffed animal,
Yeah, like
you
the
know,
kid saw
whatever,
something
it's
on
fine.
YouTube and then
Yeah,
was just like, "Ooh, I love this toy." And the parents like, "Okay, honey, whatever."
yeah, which is still kind of insane because the Poppy playtime toys look kind of freaky. Like they don't look normal. They're like very long. Like some of them are like really stretched out and like skinny,
Ugh,
and
I'm not going to look it
I
up
guess
because that's just going to upset me.
I'm sorry. I was so mind blown. I couldn't. I I can't. Okay, I have to stop. My brain just doesn't comprehend.
Now I'm concerned because now when Mike and I have kids, now anything that they any toy that they like, I'm going to have to look up and make sure it's not from a horror franchise.
Okay, first of all, to some extent, I feel like parents should be doing that. Like maybe not full on Google it, but I feel like you should know, kind of like, because my parents, even if they didn't actually watch the cartoon shows with me, they knew a lot of what I liked where it came from, what show, what franchise, what this or that, where it at the very least came from, and if that was probably child appropriate or not. Granted, my dad always treated me like I was an adult, hence I watched horror movies at the age of 2 and then I was fine. But not all kids can do that.
Fine, but against dolls because of Chucky. Okay.
Okay, hear me out though. Hear me out. This is what I will say first. This was something before my dad started this whole thing. So obviously when I was 1.5, probably at 2, I started to have comprehension, right? But at that point, I'm so young. I have no idea what my dad's watching. I don't give a frick. I was also very sick during that time. So I probably wasn't very conscious very often or totally all there. I had a ton of ear infections. I was in and out of the hospital. I had a lot of sickness. Okay. So at that point in my life, when my dad watched his sci fi and horror and stuff, my brain isn't going to process anything. Right. So, okay. So it's probably okay then. I'm not a parenting expert, but I'm just saying it's not as crazy as showing a 4-year-old, where the 4-year-old's actually going to start picking up on stuff, right?
Right.
Okay, so once I could start grasping things and the stuff I would see would actually start affecting me, my dad always he sat me down. Okay, wait. My dad has always talked to me like I was an adult. He's always treated me as an adult. He treated me like I could think and respond back to him as an adult. I would say that's a good thing because it forced me to think about the things before I said them at a very young age. I thought about what I said. I also started to learn how to argue in the sense of like the lawyer brain, right? Okay, when
Debate.
we talk,
Yeah.
when we have yes, he taught me how to debate at a very young age. I knew how to have critical conversations a lot earlier than most kids. And then because of that, I thought beyond myself a lot more than most kids too. I thought about other people. So I would say one, that was a really big thing. So then because he did that, when we started watching movies that you probably either shouldn't show a young kid or most young kids aren't going to watch, you know, we had the very discussion of like, there is good, there is evil, there is, like always do the right thing, even if it's hard, do the right thing. So, examples of that: stand up for people. Don't just stand by idly and let someone be, bullied or something, right? That's the right thing. Telling the truth, even if it's hard, even if it's going to hurt someone, even if you're scared, always tell the truth, because you're going to get in a lot less trouble telling the truth than you are if you lie or try to hide it. Okay. And stuff like that, right? So he taught me a very, not strict, but more of a moral compass. And that was how I was kind of able to watch the movies. So then he also, the other fundamental conversation was that good always triumphs. Okay, as an older adult, we could say maybe that isn't always true. I kind of still believe that. But in my head, that was my mindset, right? So I could watch these scary movies because I was like, well, good always triumphs. The bad guy's not going to win. So it doesn't matter how scared I get or what happens, right? That was my love of monster movies. Except for me, the good was always the monster. I always wanted the monster to win. But then we could watch, I watched like Total Recall, or I watched The Terminator as a child, or like those kinds of things. So sometimes I'll admit I still had nightmares. Sometimes they still gave me nightmares. But the nightmares didn't make me want to stop. Like, I didn't care. The nightmares were whatever. Because you were acting like the Chucky traumatized me as a child, right? So a kid shouldn't probably watch it. That's right. This is where I was going with this whole defense. I think before Chucky, dolls probably unnerved me as a child a little bit. Like, you know how some kids, for whatever reason, just don't like clowns, even before they ever have a clown experience? Okay, I think I had that with dolls before we even ever watched Chucky. And then Chucky kind of exacerbated it. And this was leading me to, and the whole point I was telling you about the other stuff was, I had seen so many things way more scarier than Chucky by the time we got to Chucky. I had things that I was way more scared of than dolls. And then Chucky connects to Toy Story. When I watched Toy Story as a child, I got very invested in movies as a child. There was a lot of movies I believed full-heartedly. I was very much like older people, older things, like they knew better. What they told me was the on God truth. So Toy Story, right? The toys being alive. I already kind of thought that as a child. Like, to me, my toys were alive. And then seeing this, I was like, oh my God, my toys are alive. I knew it this whole time. My toys have feelings. Okay. And this connected to the Chucky because I was like, oh my gosh, that's why Chucky is so evil, because he has feelings and the kids weren't nice to him. Okay. And the one thing that traumatized me from Toy Story was the little spider doll head.
Yeah.
That was really creepy under Sid's bed, but he wasn't a bad guy. But like he kind of looked like he was, right? That was where that whole was like, okay, so then from then on in my head, I always was very careful how I treated my toys. I was not bad to them. They had good places. I kept them all safe. I tucked them in. I was very nice to my toys because I was afraid my toys would kill me if I wasn't, because they were alive and they had feelings. Third grade, every girl at this point in my class has an American Girl doll. American Girl doll is the fad. And my mom is like, you know what? I'm going to get my daughter an American Girl doll. So for my third grade birthday, I opened this damn present and it's an American Girl doll. And I'm like,
oh no,
this is it. This is it. I'm going to die tonight. I'm not making it through the night. Chucky has come true. It didn't matter how much I've taken care of my other toys. I am done for. So that night, before I get into my bed, I make a huge, with all my extra pillows and decorative pillows, bed for my American Girl doll to sleep next to me. And I tuck her in and I'm like trying to be really nice to her. And I'm like, okay, if I'm really nice, she's not going to kill me in my sleep. It's all going to be fine. I probably took forever to fall asleep that night because I kept looking over at it. And I didn't know if it was scarier to look at it and see it move or to look away. Like the classic horror movie, you look away and then look back and it's gone. I didn't know what was scarier. Took me forever to fall asleep. Okay. I wake up the next morning to my door being closed, like hearing my door close, because I slept with my door open like a crack. So hearing it closed was like, why is my door closing? I slowly open my eyes and I'm like, do I really want to look over to my left? Do I want to do it? Do I want to know? So I do it. I look over. She's gone. She's not there. And then, as I'm looking and she's not there, I feel something at the foot of my bed slither under my bed covers, and a little hand grabs my ankle. And I'm so frozen and petrified in fear. I'm like, this is the end. I think I started saying a prayer to God. I was like thinking of all the things I've done. And I was like, I'm sorry, God, please let me go to heaven. And this little hand, as I'm saying all these things and reviewing all my life choices, is slowly going off my body. And I was still too afraid to look down at what it was. And it's slowly coming closer. And I had my blankets up. I slept with them kind of over my face or very up high against my face. And it's finally getting to a point where, like, I'm going to look at the doll straight in the eye. I'm going to see the doll. It was my baby sister, first learning how to walk. So she couldn't quite walk on her own. So she'd come into my room, crawled, grabbed the doll, tried to go back, I think, out of the room, ended up closing my door, and then was like, well, shit. Comes over to my bed because she can't just stand up, she has to hold the bed. And I was laying close to that side. So she grabbed me unintentionally and is like using me for support as she's walking up. But her hand's small, right? So it feels like a doll hand. And so she's got one hand on me and my doll by the ankle in her other hand. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. So that was really where my doll fear fully cemented, was that I really thought I was, anyways. So it wasn't just because we watched Chucky. But I do worry that I do know some kids can't do all that stuff. My sister could not watch what I could watch as a kid. It just was, it was too much for her. She would have nightmares that she just couldn't deal with.
Yeah, I mean, I did not do horror movies. I had a couple of friends over for a sleepover, like 7th grade, 6th grade, and we watched the first 5 minutes of The Ring. So, like, before, like, the first, finding the first body, like, reaching at that, like, crystal doorknob or whatever to get under the cabinet, finding her body. We turned it off there. Did not go back. I did not watch The Ring until I was like 24.
Did you say that was the first horror movie you ever watched? I was going to say your first mistake is Japanese horror is a whole nother level of horror.
Right.
Anyways, I'm sorry, go on.
I mean, that was kind of one of the first ones. I didn't watch horror. Like, that's not what my friends and I were like really in. We watched a lot of Lord of the Rings. We watched a lot of Smallville.
Oh, yes.
But, like, we weren't watching, like,
Smallville.
horror. And so that was one of the first times we were like, oh my gosh, we're going to do it. We had, like, rented the movie from the movie rental place. Watched the first 5 minutes. We're like, no. And I had nightmares about that first 5 minutes of that movie for a while. It was real rough out there.
That one was a really scary movie. I think another one that really scared me as a child, and honestly probably I still think is a little creepy, was The Grudge. I had nightmares about The Grudge. There's so many times that when I would like run up the stairs at nighttime and run as fast as I could into the bunk bed, into my bed. And then I kind of hated the bunk bed because there's one scene, I think it's the first Grudge, where she looks up and the Grudge is on the ceiling, like head extended down towards her. And I'm like, I can touch the ceiling. She's going to be like in me. I think The Ring is Japanese horror. I'm pretty sure The Grudge is. Japanese horror is a whole, it is quite literally, it's a whole nother beast of horror.
Yes. So I love like campy like slashers, like Scream,
Friday
Halloween,
the 13th.
Friday the 13th, any of those. Great time. Battle Royale.
Who's in it?
It's a Japanese game or a Japanese movie from 2000.
Oh,
That is one
Yeah.
that I
Okay.
mean, it's a thriller. It's not necessarily a horror. It's kind of like a slasher thriller. But I would say
Mhm.
that's my favorite of the genre. I just think it's so classic and it's so good. Just a bunch of high schoolers on an island that have to fight to the death until only
Mhm.
one remains because there's like an overpopulation or whatever. And so every
Right.
year, a random high school class gets chosen and everyone gets little weapons and whatever. And they all get to go kill each other, and the victor gets to live basically. Anyway, so you just get connected to the characters and um, you get emotionally tied, and they're it's just it's really it's interesting.
Mhm. The beauty of slashers is they're a little bit harder to become afraid of because they're kind of like you can feel the unrealness of
Yeah,
it if that
yeah,
makes sense. Like they're a little
they're
comical.
inherently campy because they're unrealistic.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're like, oh, okay, this is fun. You might still get a scare, a jump scare, some other kinds of scares, but you're like, whatever.
It's gonna
This
be
isn't
gory, it's gonna be
yeah.
alarming, but like it should leave
Mhm.
you with, your final person, whatever. And wow, you made it to the other side. Cabin in the Woods is a very, if you haven't seen that, I love that movie. It's so much fun
Mhm.
because it
Mhm. Yeah.
is so campy and so ridiculous and just plays on every single trope of horror movies, but still is its own interesting story. Anyway.
Those kinds of movies though can start to scare me when like even if they have the campy stuff, it's the experimentation. So Cabin in the Woods was right an
Mm-hmm.
experimentation,
Mm-hmm.
but that's when it gets depending on the experimentation and where it goes into it, that starts to freak me out in the sense that that is stuff that happens in the real world. Like there are humans who are sick and who do that, who experiment on other humans
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and not necessarily consenting humans either. Like it's just it's awful. So that usually the only kinds of things that start to scare me in horror is the actual realism of that there are humans that are monsters that are pure evil that do awful things and
Mm-hmm.
can do
Mm-hmm.
absolutely horrific things to you. Well, you started talking about horror. I couldn't help myself. I'm
You
sorry.
started talking about horror.
I had to defend myself. You brought up the Chucky comment and how that traumatized me and I couldn't deal with dolls. Okay, I had to defend myself.
And
I
you did
did.
great.
Thanks. I feel like you're judging me.
I just think there's a lot to unpack with that, but that's
The
not my
Chucky or the
business.
whole story of that?
The whole story.
Why? Wait. Why?
Because there's, yes, you watched a lot of movies and you have stated that that didn't affect you or it like gave you nightmares, but it was chill, I guess.
Mhm.
But you do have a really active imagination to the point where you were anxious about your dolls coming and attacking you. So
Mhm.
you were very careful to like take good care of that. Like you were acting, you were taking
I
it
could tell you
into
the
the real
psychology behind that.
world.
Okay, I
But
could tell
was
you
that
why.
only with dolls or was there any other
Oh,
effects on your life?
both of my parents were very emotionally and mentally abusive my whole life. When I was really little, my dad was a raging alcoholic.
Mm,
Alcohol would make him really, really mad. He never hurt me, like he never beat me,
yeah.
but he was still really scary when
Mm,
he got drunk, and he would scream in my face and yell at me and belittle me. And my mom's hit me though,
mm,
um, and they would do screaming matches, and there was always the threat of, "I'm gonna divorce you," and my household was very unstable. It was never safe. I never felt safe at home. And then I didn't feel safe at school because I didn't really have actual friends. And I probably would have got bullied if I wasn't scary, but a lot of people didn't want to mess with me because I would do something about it. I wouldn't just sit and take it. I wasn't an easy victim. And so they wouldn't, but I didn't feel safe at school. I didn't really feel safe anywhere. So I was always, I think this is why I have a very aggressive personality now. I always was ready to defend myself, to have to survive. I was always ready to have to survive. And so that, coupled with the fact that my parents always really encouraged my imagination and my active imagination and my beliefs, to believe in stuff, they, when I didn't feel safe, my imagination, right? So those horror movies didn't scare me because my life horror was scarier than that. But my brain would use these horrors to sometimes like lay over the horrors of my life. So my nightmares a lot of the time would be the scary things happening in my life, but they would wear the faces of what I watched in real life. Now, granted, the whole doll thing is really unfounded. That really doesn't have anything to do.
But
Go ahead.
I would say that you had control over the dolls. So you could, by taking care of them and whatever, thereby protect yourself.
Yes.
So that was something you had control over.
So I'd also say now another aspect about me that I really don't like and I'm not very proud of is I am a controlling person. So this is why people either like me or don't like me, is I'm very aggressive, I'm very assertive. When I meet new people, you could probably attest to this too, having known me. I am the top dog. I am at the top here. Everybody, your place. And I'm not doing it to put people down. It's the control of the situation. That's how I keep myself safe. But also I'm very protective of other people. And that's how I keep other people safe, is that people know where they are and where the line is. And if they toe the line or cross the line, I will do something about it. And so yes, because I never felt safe, something that I don't really know how to deal with now is I am very controlling because that's what makes me feel safe, because I don't know how to feel safe otherwise. If I am not in control, that is very scary to me. That is I will start going into fighting. I'll take fighting, for example, right? Because both my parents used to scream and yell at me as a little child, and that was really scary. And they'd like get in my face, and I'd be afraid they would hurt me, even though they never did. There was always that fear they would hurt me.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my mom did, but whatever. That's another thing. I'll have one of two responses. The abuse part of me will shut down, and I will disassociate. Like, I will shut everything off in my brain. I will disassociate, and I will just sit there and take it. And you can scream at me all you want. So I will have a complete shutdown. My other one is like my natural personality and my coping mechanism to that of fighting back, of not wanting to take it, because I think I am just kind of a fighter in general, but then that exacerbated it. So I either fight or I shut down. Neither of those are healthy responses to you people out there, let me tell you. Most people will stop being my friend because of that if we fight too much, because I don't know how to do an in-between. And I have gone to therapy and I try to work on it, but that is definitely a huge character flaw about me. So yes, this is why I would say that some kids can't do that. I could do it because it wasn't as scary as my real life. They just didn't. And I think I liked monsters because I was like, well, the monsters will eat all the terrible things in my life, right? Like, they'll just get rid of it. So obviously we'll be friends. Why would they eat me when they can eat all the bad things and we could just be BFFs?
Yeah.
So Yeah, I guess that probably did go into the doll thing. I could control that fear. I don't know. I'm sorry, we're at 2 hours. Is there any other comments you want to make?
No, I think we hit a lot of topics today.
We totally went way off the original topic. I feel like a lot of these end up being you psychoanalyzing me. Why can't you have psychotic childhood memories? Why does it always have to be me? Where's your wolf girl story? Okay.
I'll figure one out. That's my homework for next episode. On the plane after the wedding, that's just what I'm going to be thinking about. Is being like, okay, where's my wolf girl? What is my wolf girl?
What is your traumatic event to air out? Okay, why is it always me? I actually don't care. I hope you know I don't care. It's okay. To sum it up, I would say we had a lot of fun. Looking back at those games, going back to do the research before we talked about that, sure. Yes, we did enjoy it. We actually had a lot of fun. The one thing we didn't also mention was we played the Papa Sushiria, which is like a business management game. That was like a whole franchise of Flash games back in the day too. That was a lot of fun. I feel like what I picked up from this too is that we both could say both boys and girls back then deserved a wider variety. Okay, it's okay for them to have a wider variety. Girls are more than just fashion, but it is okay for them to love that. It's okay for them to love those games, and it's a good gateway. But they should have been able to have a wider variety, and the same goes, to boys too. I think that's what we could take away, right? I think we both agreed on that.
Yeah.
So I think that was my final thought. I don't know if I had anything else beyond that. That was the takeaway. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll try to remember, if you don't, or both of us should remember, to link the website we used to play those Flash games.
Yes.
There was more on it than just the girl games. We did try to focus more on those because that was kind of our childhood memory and what was more available and advertised to us. So we will link that. Is that still in here?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I was scrolling through things. Cool. So if you want to go check those out, relive that. We had some people in the chat who did. This is a reminder. We did stream that on the Twitch. So we do have a Twitch channel. Possibly going to upload that to YouTube. Have to look at the audio because my parents are watching D&D in the background. But if you do want to check that out and we can't get it to YouTube, our Twitch is nosidequests. So twitch.tv / or slash. Whatever. No side quests. And again, as usual, if you have a developer game or side quest you want us to talk about or any local anonymized gossip, you simply must tell somebody. Please let us know on Twitter at nosidequests or email us at nosidequests@gmail.com. And if you'd like to see our lovely faces during the podcast, we post each episode with video to our I Don't Believe in Side Quest YouTube channel. You can find me, Gabe, at nenyaadamas on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram. And you can find Lauren at sweetie_patat on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. The one thing I wanted to note, I don't know when this is going to happen, but something we talked about for a future stream is my friend found an online escape room that we might try. I think could be really fun. Not sure when that's going to happen. We obviously have to figure out our busy schedules, but that is something to look forward to. So please go follow the Twitch so that you can see that when that happens. All right. I think we did it. That wraps it up. Goodbye, guys. Have a good rest of your day.